again.
Ace Kennedy, my brother from another mother. What's good, boy?
What's going on, man?
Oh man, I am. I've been running around here, bro. Got a chance to get on outside, man, to give me a couple of runs in, and it was fortunate enough that I had a good team. I had my homies out there this time, and we ran about 5 games, probably within like an hour and a half. We was cleaning the boys on up out of there, and then the last game is one that we went down the wire because we were playing against some other cats who we some of the other good guys and everything like that. So real dope, man. Got out there, got that work in, came back. I'm fresh. I'm good now, man. What about you, man? What's
That's
good?
what's up. Yeah. So we were talking Friday, and you was like asking a bunch of questions, like where you going, what you doing, what you doing, and so it's one of
Facts.
those things. I typically I don't like telling people when I'm gonna be out of town, just because of the fact that's telling people, yo, uh, I ain't home, basically. And my thing is that it's one of those, at least for me, it's like we don't know who's watching us. You know what I'm saying? It's evident, which is funny because where I went back home, went to Killeen, and saw the fam or whatever like that. And it was funny because people actually stopped me at the Killeen Mall and was like asking about the podcast. And so it was like, it's one of those things like you just don't know who's watching. So yeah, I definitely don't like telling people I'm gonna be out of town. I typically post my pictures once I get back because then it's like, all right, it's done.
Wait a
So,
minute. So
but yeah,
you wait a minute. So you Ace Kennedy famous. Now
yeah,
you Slash
yeah.
Brothers podcast famous out here.
I'm Slash Brothers podcast because he ain't asked about no music. He ain't asked about no videos. He asked about the podcast. He even
That's
asked
dope.
about you. So that's why I was like, it was dope to be in Killeen in my hometown and people asking about the pod. Texas
That's
forever.
fire,
You know what I'm
dude.
saying? So
That's fire,
yeah,
dude.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
fire. New Texas threads. I see. You gonna flex on me like that?
Nah. I actually
I
wore this
never.
in the yeah, you have. Yeah, yeah. I'm about to tell you. I actually wore this in the video with Kima and us.
Oh, sure did. Yeah. Not perfect. I got lit. Yeah. I thought you just went back to the crib, came back flexing with the new Texas gear, though, man. That's what I said.
Nah. I just felt all inspired, so I had to been back to my Texas roots. Was out there with the fam, kicking it. Got to take I took 3 of the girls with me: Charlie, Carly, and Layla. And then of course, Mrs. went with me, and we went down there. Man, it was a very short trip because we got in Friday night, spent the whole day Saturday, went to church with the folks, and then had a very long drive back to Oklahoma. It took bro, we left at like 1 and didn't get back until 10 at night because of all the construction in both Texas and Oklahoma.
Mm.
I was so over it, bro. So over it.
Listen,
But it was a great trip.
listen. Let me tell you what's crazy, bro. I don't remember a time in maybe 20 since well, I'll say as long as I've been in Atlanta. When I left, I remember when I left to come to Atlanta, they were doing construction in Dallas, right? Around that I-35, you know what I'm saying, 20 area. Y'all know if y'all know. And even now, they still seem to always be doing construction. It's just like in Austin, bro. They've been doing construction on the roads in Austin that probably ever since we graduated high school. Like I remember going down to 6th Street and they were doing construction back in like 99, bro. Like it's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah. It was heavy, bro. And it was one of those where you couldn't necessarily go to somewhere else to get away from it. Like you had to just be in it. And that's what made it even worse. And I got a 6-year-old, which speaking of which, bro, so we were dry. Well, I'll say this to get officially started. But so we like I told you, we was stuck on the joint and we get off. And so Charlie's like, I gotta use the bathroom. Mind you, she's 6. So, typically I like to stop at a Love station because for Loves, at least, the truck drivers go there. So they got the showers and stuff there. So typically the bathrooms are gonna be okay. If I can't go to the bathroom at a gas station, I like to go to hotels. because mostly hotels, people are going to be in their room. So the lobby hotels are going to be fairly clean. So we stopped, man, went to this Holiday Inn outside of Purcell, Oklahoma, and took my little mama in there to go use the bathroom. They didn't want to let her use the bathroom. 6 years old, they want to let her use the lobby bathroom. I'm like, bro, yeah, definitely,
I'd give them
definitely.
a bad listen. I would give them a bad Yelp review just for that.
Bro, I already blew them up on Twitter, and I wanted to use my platform on the Slash Brothers podcast to shout out them whack Holiday Inn boys for that. Yeah. Yeah. With that being said, let's get this music started so we can get this
Let's
thing
do it,
cranked.
sir. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
Can you
of
dig
all
it,
time.
sucker? Sucker.
The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
Hey, listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube and the Facebook pages. We are live on both platforms at the same time. I've been podding, I've been in the studio at the same damn time. Ace Kennedy. A lot of stuff going on though, bro. First, I wanted to ask you though, bro. Did you see that? Did you see the other day while LeBron James was catching that body on Kevin Love the other day, banged on his partner? Did LeBron James passed Karl Malone, number 2, on the all-time scoring list, right? So that puts LeBron James, he's the only 10K player where he's had 10,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, 10,000 assists, right? It had me thinking, you know me, enlist. If LeBron James, who is now, I think he's top 10 in assists, I don't know if he's top 10 in rebounds all time. He might just be top 10 in rebounds of all time. My question for you is this. If LeBron James, who everybody says is a facilitator, playmaker, if he leads the league all time in scoring, does that change your mind and make LeBron James the GOAT?
No.
Why not?
Not at all.
Why?
Because, you know, it's one of those things that it's a feeling. Like I told you, lists are subjective. I don't care what stats you add into it, because then even with the stats and the numbers and stuff like that, you personally put emphasis on the numbers that mean the most to you. It's partly why we get into arguments a lot about Russell Westbrook. This year aside, when we look at Russell Westbrook's numbers, and I'm like, yo, he's on my list for best players of all time, and you look at me like I'm crazy, because there's still something else that would block you from putting him that high on your list. And it's the same thing with like looking at even in music, right? You look at Drake, you look at everything Drake has accomplished, but in my opinion, he'll never be better than Jay-Z.
Never.
Never. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just like there won't be anybody better than Michael Jackson to me. Like, that's just a thing, you know what I'm saying? So for me,
Beyonce's close.
No, she's not.
No, I'm just.
So this is what I'll say. LeBron would literally have to win another championship, so that'll give him his 6, right?
So right. So LeBron, let's say he goes down, He's going to pass Kareem if he plays next year, and if he plays at this level, he's going to pass Kareem.
Okay.
All-time list, all-time leading scorer. And what would he have to do for you to say you are the GOAT over Jordan?
He would have to win another championship with Russell Westbrook. Then he would have to win a championship with Bronny. Then he would retire. He would become an owner of a team. And then that team would have to win a championship before he's even in the conversation.
Wait. But LeBron, wait. Michael Jordan's sons never played in the NBA. I don't even think they
100%.
finished college.
No, some of them played in college, but
They
played
didn't finish
in college,
college.
but they ain't
But okay,
finished. Yeah.
So you're saying that LeBron, let me get this right.
Mm-hmm.
In order for LeBron James to be the GOAT over Michael Jordan, you're saying that LeBron James has to win another championship while being the all-time leading scorer with Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, he got a lobby to keep Russ. So
you got a lobby to keep Russ and win a championship with Russ.
Yeah.
And then on top of him winning one with Russ, he has to win another ring with Bronny. Who isn't? He's a junior now. So Bronny is a senior. He's going to be a senior. That's next season. So he's going to have to win a championship with Bronny. Then he's going to have to retire. And then after he retires, he has to become a GM or owner of another team.
Mm-hmm.
And then win a championship as a GM owner. And then he'll be the GOAT.
No, then he'll be in the conversation.
He won't even be the GOAT then. He just for you to entertain the conversation.
Right. Because here's the thing. He already did Space Jam, which I'm actually, I watched the movie. I'm sporting it. He did Space Jam. He's doing stuff like Mike. So maybe he would have to, before he comes back to be a GM, maybe he'd have to go either play football or baseball, then come back to the league as an owner, and then win a championship with that team. Because see, Mike ain't won with the Hornets yet. And so then after that,
what does that got to do with him being the GOAT as far as a player? Like, we're not talking about a GOAT general manager, a GOAT owner.
No.
Like,
but if you want to, he said he's chasing the ghost of Jordan. So he got to follow. Right. So I'm telling you, Jordan left, played baseball, came back to the game of basketball, won some championships, then, did the Wizards thing or whatever. And then, so what I'm saying is there's a lot left for this man to do in order for him to even be in the conversation.
Does he have to bust a tuck at 40 like your boy?
Nah, I'll leave the tuck to you because Brian don't look like he can bust a tuck. Like, I don't know if he could do that. That's a lot of mass to move. But here's the thing. LeBron has done a lot for the game statistically. But what if
Bronny? Okay, what if Bronny doesn't make it to the NBA?
Oh, he's gonna the fact that LeBron,
he's at least two. Okay, let's hypothetically, right? Hypothetically, okay. So let's say Bronny's a senior now. He's going to be a senior this coming school year, right? So that season won't be over until next year. And then, because of the NBA rules, he can't go fresh out of high school. He's going to have to go ahead and sit out for. He can go to the G League, right? But even in the G League, you have to play in the G League for a year because you have to be a year removed from college or like 19 years old.
No,
so then that's 2 years. So you're saying that LeBron, whose contract is only good through one more year, he's going to have to bank on, according to you, for LeBron to get you to say I'm now in the GOAT conversation. He's still 2 years out, and that's so okay. What if the Lakers trade Russell Westbrook? Then does that mean that he's automatically disqualified?
No. I'm just saying if you're looking for things to help your case, right? Because nobody's won a championship with Russ. So if you win the championship with Russ, that automatically gets you a notch, right? But if they trade Russ, that's out of his control. I mean, it's not necessarily out of his control, but it is. You know what I'm saying? So
Russ is gonna be gone by next season. He's not gonna finish next season with them.
okay, well, still, maybe wherever Russ goes and that team drafts Bronny, and then LeBron goes there, they win a championship. He wins with he caps off both of them in the same two birds, one stone, right? So my thing is that he still got away.
Wait a minute, bro. I've heard of jumping through hoops, bro. But you talking about jumping through hoops while walking on water?
Listen, that's what Jordan did. Jordan
No,
walked
Jordan
on water.
didn't.
Jordan did
No,
walk
he
on water.
didn't.
Yeah,
Jordan, you know,
he lived through getting beat up. He lived through
stop,
playing
stop.
basketball and the UFC at the same time.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, I hate. Listen, I hate when people say that. He got beat up by Detroit, and he got beat up by Detroit because nobody on the Bulls see what they traded Oakley. Oakley was their tough guy. So when people say Michael Jordan got beat up in the 80s, no, one team did him like that. And if we also are being honest with you, man, people listen, man, the 80s and 90s, time.
Okay, he got beat up. LeBron ain't getting beat up. Is LeBron getting beat up?
Yes.
Who beat him up? Who beat up LeBron?
Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons was beating. Listen, the Detroit Pistons were mauling LeBron. The Celtics were mauling LeBron. Mauling them. And this is the thing about it. And if you want to be honest, it was only Detroit that I remember. Like nobody else can pull footage of Jordan just getting manhandled. And this is the thing about it, though, bro. It's like it's why I always when people I think listen, bro.
Here, go ahead.
Having played basketball in the 90s, bro, and watching it early, you know, I was a kid in the 80s watching it. And when I look back at it, bro, I was having this conversation with my brother when we was talking about comparing eras. And I just don't think that the 80s, 90s basketball was as tough as people made it seem. It just wasn't as much skill.
We just watched the last Dance.
The Last Dance. The Last Dance was from Michael's perspective. And it was only highlighted. Charles. Listen, it only highlighted the Pistons, bro.
Charles. I don't care if it was from Mike's perception. The footage is what I'm talking about. He didn't alter or doctor the footage. He didn't alter or doctor what the Pistons was saying they was going to do to Mike. So
according to Pippen, he might as well have.
I don't care what Pippen say. I'm going by. Remember, I told you facts, not fiction. A feeling. Fact, not feeling.
I get that. But the facts are that there's no other footage that you can find that I've ever seen. And I could be wrong, but I've never seen Michael Jordan getting mauled by the Celtics. I've never seen him getting mauled by the New York Knicks. I've never seen him getting mauled by the Pacers with Reggie Miller. I don't remember him getting mauled when Ron Harper, before the injuries with the Cavs. I don't remember any of I only remember there's the only video I've ever seen was with the Pistons, bro.
Well, here's the thing. LeBron can have all the stats. He could have all the scores, the points, all of that. The thing he will not have over Jordan is the impact and the influence over the game. And that's what makes Jordan the GOAT, in my opinion.
I agree with what you're saying. I agree with the premise that with Jordan, it is bigger than stats. I think that what I appreciate about LeBron, that's just different from Jordan, is that I think that Jordan to me transcends basketball. And I think that LeBron does as well, just not nearly to the level that Jordan did in his prime and after. So it's like that's what it is. So to me, that's why I think greatness, when you can't measure greatness, it's subjective. Now, if you want to talk about who's the best player or the best of all time, then I think that numbers and things like that would make a difference. But greatness is something that I don't think you can measure, and I think that that's the reason why that ambiguity on how you measure it is why I think that that LeBron would never be looked at as the GOAT in the grand scheme of basketball. Now, if you say GOAT post Jordan, he's clearly it to me.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing for me. I'm not one of those people that need to compare LeBron and Jordan anyway. I think LeBron is his own person. I also think that LeBron openly has said that he has mimicked some of the moves that Mike made. You know what I'm saying? I think Jordan opened up some opportunities to allow LeBron to take what he did and to do better. If somebody's not doing better than what you did, then you didn't leave the game well. Let me
I
ask
like I like that. I like that.
let me ask you this. When you think about when we talk about how we are fans of WWE or just wrestling in general, and from our era, who would you say is the GOAT of wrestling?
It's very easy for me. Ric Flair is the GOAT.
I knew you would say that. But then let me ask you though, does that mean that Ric Flair is the best wrestler? Does it mean that Ric Flair won the most matches? Does it mean that
So it's different, right? Because wrestling is scripted, right? But I think that when you come to the influence and transcending and putting the spotlight on wrestling, there are very few people who I think put the spotlight on wrestling, especially for back then when wrestling still was looked at almost like a southern thing. I think that Ric Flair was able to transcend wrestling the way that nobody else was able to do until Hulk Hogan came along. And even when Hulk Hogan came along, Ric Flair still never, his light never dimmed. I think that why I say Ric Flair is the greatest wrestler of all time, primarily because I also measure, when you look at, to me, people's popularity at their peaks, I think that The Rock's popularity at his peak, and Stone Cold's popularity at their peak, even Hulk Hogan, those four to me are the four wrestlers that I would say those are the GOATs. But I think that the one thing that I believe though is that The Rock, right, had to build up to be a superstar. Stone Cold was still stunning Steve Austin, right? And they all had to develop their character and everything like that. And I think that Ric Flair has always been in my lifetime, always been nature boy Ric Flair. He's always been jet live flying, limousine ride, that Ric Flair. So I think that for me though, yeah, I think that Ric Flair is the GOAT only because at his peak popularity, I think that he transcended wrestling more and longer than the other wrestlers though.
right? Real quick, just real quick so we can move on. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of wrestler?
Oh, I can stop. I can tell you that Mount Rushmore 4 or 5. I go 5. Let me just go 5. 4 would be
Okay.
hard. Okay, let me go 5. Ric Flair, The Rock, Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, and if I had to go with a fifth, I want to say either Undertaker or Triple H.
See, I don't have trips on my list. That's a good pick, but I'm surprised like you didn't say like Shawn Michaels. I see what you mean by Undertaker, Bret Hart. I mean, there's so many people to choose, like you said, but
I
you
can
pick.
leave Bret Hart off. I listen. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not a hard thing for me to leave Bret Hart off. I liked him, but I never looked at Bret Hart like a Rock. Like I never looked at him
See,
like
yeah,
a no. He to me this is I'm gonna say in comparison to those guys, the five that I named, Bret Hart was like Dean Ambrose, like a very high intercontinental champion type
yeah.
wrestler. They did not quite to me compared to those goats. He was right. If there were tears, right? If there were tears, right? then I would say that he's on that next level below those guys. And it's weird to say that because I do think that he was great in his own right, but he's not Mount Rushmore to
See,
me.
and it was crazy to me because like if you get into numbers and stuff like that and longevity and stuff like that, man, it's hard to see like where do you put Chris Jericho, bro?
And so for me personally, Chris Jericho is look at this. After those five,
Yeah,
if you had to go, so if you let's say if you did it, let's say if this was a pyramid, right?
yeah,
So you did five, and then seven, and then 9 or 10 or whatever 10. So let's say you said we got to do a graph of this 5, 7, and then let's say 10 to make it even. To me, I think that on that next seven would be Triple H, would be Bret Hart, would be Chris Jericho to me. Sting would be on that
yeah.
list on
Sting is
that
pretty
next
high on
one.
my list, bro.
Yeah, Sting would be on that list. And
See, just right off the top, my 5 is Hogan, Cena,
oh, I forgot all of John
Rock.
Cena would be next. John Cena for me would be next seven up.
Yeah. So
Dang.
see, Rock, Hogan, Cena, Austin, and Sting.
That's a good pick. I can't argue with that. I can't argue with Sting. So you know what messed it up for me? Maybe it's just Sting got old and then he went dormant for that
Yeah,
long
yeah, yeah.
period. Yeah, and so I think that the reason why I would pick somebody like Undertaker is because while Undertaker may have took some time off, he never stepped away. That means
Right.
something to me when I'm comparing.
I mean, and that's what I'm saying. I think Taker is definitely very high for me. Him, yeah, he's up there.
Oh,
That's what's saying.
Taker's top five to me, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
yeah,
top
yeah,
five.
yeah.
Hey, listen though, bro. Since we're talking about sports, I've been meaning to ask you this, right? Uh, we've been talking about like light cancel culture and everything, right?
Hmm.
So I saw from afar Leah Thomas. She's a transgender female from University of Pennsylvania. She recently won a national Division One championship in swimming. She won like the 500 yards, and there's been this big controversy behind it. People have. I saw that even in Florida, the girl who came in second place. I saw that in Florida. Their corny governor, I think it's Ron DeSantis or whatever his name is. He's a straight clown, but he said, according to Florida, that this girl who got second place is the true champion. So in Florida, they don't recognize this girl, Leah Thomas. They recognize the other girl who got second place. And so the big thing is that they're saying that, hey, is this a level of fairness that this is a transgender woman? And from all accounts, she's still built like she has man muscles, right? And she won this. And if I'm not mistaken, though, bro, during this season or during her swim career, she's beat like a few Olympic US Olympic swimmers though, right? So then the question is like, all right, well, is this chick, what is she even doing swimming? I mean, competing with these, is that a level playing field? Ace Kennedy, to that, you say what?
I think that there has to be a look at what the sport is. Like, I would just say, I think for me, you need to compete in the area of which gender you were born. I can still recognize you as a female, this, that, and the other, but at the same time, genetically, you are still have an advantage competitively. It's almost so for me, I still think that that's where we would have to draw the line. I think that if we're trying to do what's considered fair, because just like when you talk about, you know, like even in sports like UFC, mixed martial arts, should I say, and you were born a man, but then you transition to become a female, you still got them hands though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
You got
and
the muscles. You got man muscles still.
yeah. So and now let me say this. I want to say this. Let me say this. I do not know all the science behind people who transition. I don't know that if that means that when you start taking the specific hormones, if that means you have more, estrogen. Uh, I don't know the science behind it. I'm just clearly going off of what my eyes see. We are not professionals. We are having a conversation.
We
So,
only pretend to be doctors on the show.
right. So, with that being said, I'm only saying I am not shaming anybody who might be transgender or feels like their rights might be violated. I'm only
We get the disclaimer. Go, just say it, bro. I know you. Don't dance around it. Say your
you
piece,
you
man.
you know, but there might be. Hey,
I
like I
know
said,
what we
listen,
know what you're
listen.
trying to say. We know
After
we get the disclaimer. You got
listen,
the we see the yellow tape,
listen.
the fine print.
Hold on. After I've been to the K and I had people walking up to the boy saying that they watched the Slash Brothers podcast, I got to make sure I cover my grounds because I don't know
Okay,
who's watching. But
okay,
no, all I'm saying
celebrity.
is I think that if, like Mark knows, everybody says, if we can't have a transgender division, then you need to compete in the area of which you were born.
I like the idea of having so this is the way I look at it, bro. So the same way how they have the Paralympics, right? And they have something that's very specific, and this is a not to just um, um, shed a negative light to say, oh, these are all the people that are transgender, or these are all the gay people, or whatever the label is. I do think that in fairness of competition, it's almost like so. I thought for this particular case what I didn't particularly like about it or agree with is that Leah Thomas competed before as a man and was in the bottom, right? It's in terms of finishing and placing, very low. But then once she went and transitioned and became a woman, then it shot her on up. So it's like not to say that that has anything to do with your love for swim, but it's like you competed as a man, and to someone on the outside, they could look like, well, you couldn't get
You
this
couldn't hack it
these
as a man.
you couldn't hack it as a man. It's like there was a girl in Texas who was transgender, and I'm not sure to what degree she completely transformed over, but I think the one thing that was crazy is that she had ran as a boy in high school and was nowhere near, what I'm saying, top whatever. And then I think that she transitioned and then, ran maybe by the 11th grade, 12th grade. She's like top 10 in the state. And everybody's like, yo, come on, man. You still, when you competed as a boy, you wasn't about that kind of work. But now that you are a female, you still have I understand that you take the hormones and everything like that. I get it completely though. But at the same time, it's like, men and women are built differently, and I think that for something like that, I do think that, there should be something separate. I just, not I just don't think that inclusion should apply to every single thing.
So there's another qualification. So LeBron would have to retire from the NBA, transition, and join the WNBA and win a championship there, and then he'd be in the conversation.
What team
It don't matter.
does he got to win one with? Does he got to win one with the Atlanta Dreams? That somebody who's never won a championship before.
Nah, he ain't got to do all that. He just got to win the championship.
Listen, bro. Drake wouldn't listen. I understand because to your point, there's nothing at all that I think that Drake would ever do that would make me think he's the GOAT over on a GOAT list over Jay-Z. I could even concede and say he's a solid number two. If you want to, if I'm pushed, I understand that to some young kid saying that, that may make sense to them. Just like in the same way, I can understand though that even LeBron becoming the all-time leading scorer. For people who think LeBron is the GOAT, it does give them more credibility in their argument to me.
Yeah, it's just like how we think so highly of Usher, But then if somebody was like, nah, Chris Brown, that the truth, then I'd be like, okay, I get it. I understand.
Well, so see, you go get. So I told you, I do think talent wise, I think Chris Brown is more talented, bro.
No.
Songs wise, I still think that he'll lose in the verses. I still listen.
100%. That's because
We
that's
can,
where Ursh got that work. That's what I'm saying. Like, listen, Chris, here's the thing. I have to admit this, right? I heard Chris Brown. I was listening. While I was driving to Texas, I actually listened to Lil Dicky Freaky Friday. And I listened to Chris Brown's BGVs, bro. And I'm like, he's dope. He's super dope. And I've known that, but at the same time, Chris Brown's songs sound the same. But
I
I mean,
can't disagree with that.
they dope. But Usher songs give you an experience. Like when you listen to an Usher song, you remember what you was doing when that song came out. You know every single word to the Usher song.
And here's the thing: I think that Chris Brown has been around long enough to where he should give you that feel.
He should, but
he does have songs, and I think that do give you that feel. But I think that it's just that to me personally, it's just there's some of his older songs. That's all.
Yeah, and again, I think Chris is dope. I think Chris is dope.
I do think so too, man.
Yeah, I really do. Like I am not hating off of him. I ain't hating off nothing Chris is doing. But he still it's just the thing. Like he just won't be over Usher to me.
All right, let me ask you this though. Speaking of staying on the topic of music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Megan Thee Stallion, the Texas treasurer, who should be protected at all times. She may need our assistance. She need the prayer warriors. She is going back and forth with her label again. Now, hey, she's been going back and forth to where there was almost like a delay on her last project, just behind, disagreements with labels. And I think that a lot of that it sounds very much like the typical, like a new artist kind of thing. You want to be signed, right? So you sign this agreement, and then once you start kind of getting more familiar with the business, then you kind of start to question a lot of things that you did sign. So now I read something that said that she might just be forced to put out music to oblige her contracts, though, Ace. But I'm just sitting here tripping like they've been going back and forth with this for a while. And now it hasn't stopped her from still getting endorsements, still doing her thing, putting out music. But I think that as a label, they're looking for that collective, that album, right? And I'm going to assume that she has a couple of more albums obligated, right?
So here's what it is. Things kind of started going a little crazy with her, obviously, when she changed her management to Rock Nation. You know what I'm saying? And so, of course, they are going to open her eyes to some things that she probably didn't know. So Here's the thing. The language that it kind of reads in her contract, and I'm paraphrasing, is just like that you have to have so much music that equals up to so much time in order for it to be considered an album. And so they're trying to say the last project that she put out doesn't classify as an album. So that's why they're going to court, because if it does classify as an album, then she only owes one more project to be off of her label. And so the thing is that if for some reason the courts find that that doesn't classify as an album, she will owe them 2 more projects before she can get off the label. Meg's argument is this: if you claim I don't make you any money, then just let me go. Why you still trying to hold me to make more money? If you say I ain't making you no money, then what's the beef? Just let me go. So it's one of those things. It's just, you're gonna hear a whole bunch of negative stuff because they both out there flaming each other on Twitter. And so there's some defamation cases involved too. So there's a lot going on. But at the end of the day, facts is facts. That last project was an album. It was new music. It equaled up to said amount. So
it was nominated, right? Grammy nominated.
Well, I don't know all of that stuff, but I'm just saying, I'm just talking about the numbers as far as like it has to be, I think, over 45 minutes or something like that. And it, XYZ amount of new material. So that's kind of what they're going back and forth forth about.
That's not an issue with FTMG.
Not at all.
I'm just gonna put that out there.
Not at all. If you
Hey,
if
so
you if you sign and then drop not now bit of music and you wanted to leave,
so this is my thing though, bro. What I think that would be interesting, right, is that why wouldn't she try to buy her way out of her contract? Maybe they would ask for so much more. But I remember, I bring that up only because I remember I was watching the Two Chains Drink Champs, and he mentioned that he bought out his album. He bought not bought out his deal with label deal with Ludacris. This is Two Chains with no album, right? This is what I respected about when he said it. Put it out, paid 100,000 to get off, and gave them a point off of all of his off of the first three albums and everything like that. So I think that what I think is interesting about that though, man, is that he was able to he bought his way out. He really betted on himself and won it. And so I'm thinking like, all right, if you feel that strongly one way or the other, like I'm not trying to count nobody's pockets, but I don't see why at this point you couldn't say, you know what, let me just bet it all. And then let me just get, because I mean you think if
there's a
you
reason why.
why is that?
Because so that's the other thing that's involved too, is because he's trying to say, oh, we've been paying for all your shows. And she's like, and so she's basically saying you haven't paid for a show since like 2019 or something like that. So there's some other money things already tied into it. So
Mm,
I don't know that they would be able to come up with a negotiable price that would release her from her stuff because of what they think she owes and what she thinks that she owes. So
yeah, I think that's that. So I just think that how much she could. Like, it's weird, man, because I think that the part that plays to her favor, right, is that if they're mainly concerned about an album, um, nowadays, like people aren't just in a rush to put out albums, right? I think that people, put out song, and then it's placement, right? So I can see that. I mean, because I can see why she could just say, boom, here go. I got enough music recorded. Here go 2 albums worth of music. Kind of like how Chris Brown, to satisfy his deal, he put out the 45 songs, and then he was just like, all right, I'm clear. I'm a free agent. Right. So I'm just sitting here saying, if she got that kind of music, and listen, I don't see why she wouldn't even be able to. Let's say if she just said, I got to complete this, let me get production. She has an in-house producer. I think that she could just put together, the albums she said, this is the buyout album. Boom. Let me go ahead and slide. And they don't,
well,
I thought about that because, yeah, she could just put out some trash, but I don't know. And yeah, Mark, she's still with Carl Crawford and them though, bro. I think they call like 15, 17 or something like that. But I guess I'm just wondering if she just needs, if they're saying you got obligations for 2 more albums, right? Then I guess I just don't know why if you're a full-time musician, that should be something that should be easy to do. If you're just saying, I'm just gonna give you this music, now I'm on.
well, she just has to be careful with that because she can't just release anything. Because at the end of the day, if she releases something, let's say she releases some music that's not necessarily top tier. I mean, you and I have already spoke that we weren't necessarily real high on the last song that she was on. So
It's
if she
top 10
doesn't,
though on billboards. It's top
doesn't
10
matter.
on billboards.
Doesn't matter. All I'm saying is this: she can't afford to put out trash though. So, and I'm not saying her last song was trash; it just wasn't for us. What I'm saying though, if you just release music just to release it and it's not well received, that part isn't affecting anybody but her because fans don't care about the behind the scenes; they care about the music. So
Yeah.
that's what she has to be careful with because the image of her releasing dope music is what it is. That's what it's about.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. It is interesting though, bro. Like I said, I want to see her win though, bro. I think it's a good look, man. But I don't know, man. I am just kind of, I'm just curious about that. I don't know all the details on it, but it's always one of them things, though, man. When you're a new artist, and then once you start getting more familiar with the business, and when you see the checks coming in, and you think that, all right, my checks should be a little bit bigger, or when you think that, hey, me and my new management team is doing all the work, right, doing this, that, and the other, And I understand that from an artist perspective. You said I got management. So as a label, your responsibility is just to distribute the music, though, right? So I can understand why you would might look at them coins a little bit more with the magnifying glass, bro.
Well, the other thing too is, so I think Rock Nation hit them with an audit to see, like, okay, let's see the expense account. Let's see what you guys are actually spending on Meg, right? And when they did the review, come to find out, I guess the boy Carl Crawford threw some chains that were his chains on to that. So there's a, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. It's gonna get bad before it gets better.
Yeah, listen, all she gotta do is holler at the boy. I got two bangers, they ready to go right now, though, boy. Two of them things, they top 10 hits with Megan on them.
Yeah, but bro,
Hey,
keeping it with music though. So the Grammys decided they are not going to let the boy Ye perform at the Grammys due to his online activity.
what he saying? What he saying online, bro? Because I saw that he got into it with Trevor Noah, who
Yeah.
hosted the Grammys, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken, before.
Yep. Well, no, he's about to host
He's
the
about to
Grammys.
host it.
And so in one of his DL Hughley and Trevor Noah have both said, like, look, the stuff that Ye is doing is stalkerish activity. And so, of course, Ye has been going back and forth with DL, and DL been roasting him.
DL
Roasting
listen, DL has been talking facts.
100%. 100%. And so then like Trevor Noah was on his show and kind of did the same thing. Like, look, the stuff that you're doing, bro, like, this is getting kind of sad. Like, you need to calm down or whatever. And of course he responds back. So yeah, the Grammys have decided to not allow him to perform, even though he's nominated for several different categories this year. And so the thing is Pete Davidson, who, also has been going back and forth with him. The text messages were released, and that whole thing we talked about last pod. And a lot of people, it was just surprising enough, a lot of people are starting to believe that Pete went too far. What's your thoughts on that, bro?
Listen, bro. If it's me, now I can't speak on behalf of Pete. I don't think that he went far. I don't think that he went nearly as far as he could have, or as far as I would have gone.
Well, here's the thing.
Now,
If somebody slaps you, you can't be mad if they punch you back.
you play stupid game, you get stupid prizes, bro. Right. So if I listen, dog, I would listen. Bro, listen, man. Pete Davidson basically he took a picture in the bed, and you don't know for sure that it's Kim Kardashian's bed, if it's his bed, if they're at a hotel. But Pete Davidson could have made it to where he knew that it was that Kanye. If it was me, I would have taken a picture with my head on Kim Kardashian's butt so that he knew that it was her.
Well, he said, I'm in bed with your wife. He did say
Yeah,
that.
no. If I'm going to go there, I'm going to show the proof. I got these kind of receipts, bro.
Yeah. Well,
I couldn't listen,
so
man.
Other people are saying too that Pete shouldn't have released the text message.
Didn't Kanye release it?
From what I understand, Pete Davidson released it. But either way, who cares? Like you said, would we have thought Kanye released stuff all the time? So like, bro, if you keep throwing stones at my house, what do you think I'm gonna do? Like,
Pete's in the green on this one, bro. Pete is greens on it. Listen, Pete, to me, I think, like, this is my thing, because what this reminds me of, right, is one of those scenarios where people will take, bruh, Ace Kennedy. This is what people think when you try to be humble, right? You try to be humble, but people don't respect that, right? So now I got to clap back at you like that, right? So then when I clap back now, Now you want to be the victim after you've been campaigning for this clapback, and when you get elected, you want to go ahead and just say, "Oh, okay, you went too far." This man, but no, bro, this is what you've been asking for.
Yeah,
So I don't. If anything, I don't appreciate how Kanye played victim on this, bro.
I don't either. I mean, I think it's it's one of those things like, bro, you've been the one out here doing all of this stuff, and now that somebody got some clap back, then you want to play the victim? Like, nah,
I
like
want to
no.
see Kanye win, bro. I don't think that I understand that they always try to talk about Kanye and his mental health. Set that aside. I think that the one thing that's just crazy when people say, "Oh, he got to cool down," like, nah, Ye is being Ye. There nobody's made a blueprint, right, for how you supposed to act when you worth $5 billion and you do it in a 5 year period, right? Or a 6 year period, or whatever it is. Because let's just be honest with you, man. Most people that are billionaires have been businessmen their whole lives for the most part, right? Kanye has been a creative his whole life. And a lot of the things that he's been doing as a creative, those kind of things, he's still doing them. He's just worth the billing now. And so I look at that and I'm thinking like he's doing what Kanye has always done. And maybe that's not to say that it's right to do, but he's not doing anything that I'm not familiar with him doing already.
And this is the first time people have called him on his stuff. Because
Maybe.
I mean, well, I'm just saying.
Well, yeah,
Typically,
I get that. You're right. You can, if yeah, I can. I'm good. I understand that.
yeah, I'm saying the Grammys is like, no, we're not gonna put up with your antics. Typically, people don't have the power to say they're not gonna do, and of course, I'm sure, we've seen, like you said, the game has come out and supported Kanye, and then what's the other dude that nobody knows about? French Montana said something. So it's just like all I'm saying is that it's gonna take a whole lot more than that in order to move the needle. But y'all are basically co-signing him stalking his ex-wife or soon to be or whatever you want to call it.
Shit. Okay. So listen. Okay. This is where we need to have some women
Yeah.
on here because my thing is that he's. I don't know. Listen, I don't know if he's doing too little, too late. But isn't this? He didn't had a couple of chicks and everything like that. But why can't we just say this man is trying to get his girl back, bro? He's being
There's a
consistent. He's
difference
trying to
in
get his woman back.
okay, but there's a difference in doing that because here's the thing. If you really were okay, think back when Cardi B and Offset was going through their stuff, right? And Offset wasn't publicly uh filming and doing, like, he was doing stuff, and because of his life people were posting what he was doing, but he wasn't posting what he was doing. He was trying to uh get his wife back because he was doing whatever it took, and it wasn't no grand gestures that he publicized. If people happen to film him doing it, like, fans or something like that's completely different. But Kanye is trying to, like, use his influence online to almost bully Kim into taking him back. And she's like, no, like, bro, for one, I have the same influence you have, if not more. You're not gonna bully me into doing what you want me to do. That's the uh narcissist, that's the power that you try to have over her. And she's not like, we always ask, what is it about Pete that Kim likes? And I think the fact that he's somewhat normal, you know what I'm saying, in her eyes, so to speak. He gives her something that she doesn't have. And Kanye's brand was entirely too big for her, or it was like, no, I'm cool.
I think, bro, this is the thing that I do find interesting about that, though, bro. I just wonder. So it's like, okay, so this is one thing. I think that what's crazy is that this is almost to me just like how you and I we've had conversations about how people deal with grieving and everybody deals with grieving differently. And I never try to be the one to tell somebody how to deal with death, right? I think that in this case, it's like when I think about this more, right? I do think that I think Kanye is going about this the wrong way. But I think that very much like grieving for this level of breakup to him, I don't know that there's a right way to go about it or to advise someone like him. Now, listen,
Here's the
I'd
easy.
like to think that there is somebody who is telling Kanye, bro, this is off. This is foul. Think that he just don't have that level of yes men where somebody's just co-signing with them, though, right? But at the same time, it's like if that's indeed the case, I think that I think that it's hard for it sounds to me, bro, that it is just very hard for Kanye to accept this, very much like somebody who's grieving, bro.
Well, I mean, I get that.
He'll
You
bounce
can't.
back, bro, but I just think that this is his process.
And here's the thing: the easiest way to figure out if you're going too far is listening to the other party involved. And so, if they're saying like, "No, this is not it," then you're gonna have to pull back. Uh, nobody's telling you not to fight for your girl, but at the same time, how you trying to fight for her is very much stalkerish.
I agree with. I guess I'm just trying to picture somebody telling him that, and then how he receives it.
Well, I mean, we know how he does. Like the thing is he doesn't take criticism well because he don't feel like he has to. I mean, we see what he did to Big Sean, what he did to anybody that disagrees with him. He will publicly blast them. You know what I'm saying? And then be cool with them behind the scenes. So like I said, people just are a little fed up with a lot of the stuff he does. So, plain and simple.
Hey, by the way, we can talk about it on another episode. Listen, man. Uh, what you got going on for the week, bro?
Well, I got a show of mine got canceled, so I'm sort of grateful for that. Like I wanted to do the show, I was excited about it. It was going to be different, but to have something cleared off my plate, I'm grateful for that. Other than that, I got a wedding to go to this weekend, so I'm gonna be getting ready for that. And then, other than that, man, just trying to get recover from being gone. This week, I got a package I got to mail off later on this week, which is pretty huge. So I can't wait to get that sent on out. That's always a big thing. I love sending packages out, but the process of getting it done is always the big deal. So,
hey, I was about to say this. I'm gonna go ahead and say it since we got 2 minutes. Shout out to Annette Johnson. Listen, man, she hooked me on up with the beard products. I went and shaved myself all the way down, though, man. And myself just been growing all healthy on out here, though, man. Back in time for the summer, though, man. She hooked me on up. I'm still using my shampoo, my little custard and everything. Got the boy skin over here and beard over here glowing like a pregnant woman, though, man. Hey, listen on that note one more time. If you haven't already, subscribe to your boys in them YouTube and Facebook pages, though, man. Ace Kennedy, can we take it home, sir?
yeah.
It doesn't matter what your name is. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
If you smell